Well, here we go, everybody. It is a Thursday. It is January the 8th, and I'm Chris Allen, and this is 270 weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Obviously, we're going to dive into the possibility of maybe a few strong storms. There's also record warmth that we even had today, in fact. Record high set today in Bowling Green, Kentucky, right here at the airport. 72 degrees was our was our high temperature. 72. That breaks the record set back in 2006, 2008, and 2019. Isn't that crazy? And that 72 degrees, 26 degrees warmer than the normal high temperature is 46 degrees, but we hit 72. I know, crazy stuff. It felt good though. Feels good to be in the 70s here at the beginning of January. Now, we could hit a record high again tomorrow on Friday, even with the rain coming in. The record high is 70, set back in 1930, and we're probably going to hit 71 or 72 once again. So that would break that record. Plus, we could be looking at a record low minimum. You say, what is that? It's a warm or warmest low temperature for the day. The warmest low temperature on record for today, 53, set back in 1935, but we're only going to get down to 63 tonight. So that would shatter that old record for a low temperature. Pretty crazy, huh? Yeah, but all good things must come to an end. And these records and the record warmth is about to come to an end. Yes, big time. All right, let's get to the radar. Now, there hasn't been much going on. There have been these little showers you see here up into central Kentucky. Other than that, there hasn't been a lot to talk about today. We said that, most of the day would be rain free, and pretty much that's been the case, except for some of these little showers that have passed through. What is the kind of a bluish aqua green counties back to the west? What does that mean? Is that some kind of watch or a warning? Well, it's a special weather statement. And it's just talking about the gusty southerly winds this evening. Some winds back there 35 to 40 miles per hour. So that's going to cause some issues if you're driving. It could cause, a couple of little tree limbs to fall, maybe a few power outages. Nothing more than that. But you see here on the radar, there's not a lot going on. Well, there's a brand new, it just came in. As you see there, see it flashing? That's a new wind advisory. And it just came up as I was talking. Isn't that cool? Real time, live warnings. Well, okay, advisory. It's not a warning. I don't want to scare anybody. It's not anything like that. So now there's a brand new wind advisory in effect until 3 a.m. Friday. Southwest or south winds at 15 to 25 with gusts up to 40 and even 45 miles per hour. Now that's some strong wind. And so it is in effect now until 3 o'clock in the morning. And it includes western Kentucky. With that wind advisory, winds will blow around any unsecured objects like a trash can, a trampoline, anybody that still has Christmas decorations. And you haven't taken them down yet? Well, maybe you just let the wind take those down. The winds will be from the south. So east-west highways, that's where you're going to have trouble driving, especially if you're a high-profile vehicle like tractor trailer trucks. Yeah. So when the winds are blowing from the south and you're traveling east or west, well, it's going to, yeah, cause you an issue. So that's a new wind advisory for overnight until 3 a.m. But as you see here, there's nothing really going on as far as, storminess. And I really didn't expect anything today. All that's going to come later on, especially overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. Now, when I turn on what's called the composite, let me get these advisories and all off of here so that you can see a little better. So here is current radar, composite radar. This is where we put all the Doppler radar sites and what it's showing together. So you can see it in one view. And it's loading in. St. Louis is getting some of the hefty thunderstorms right now, but even those are not severe. They're just, putting down some very heavy rain. And all of this is just very fragmented. There's not a big line of storms anywhere. We go down into Arkansas. Now these are the ones that will have to be watched that could early in the morning begin to come our direction, and once they do travel into southern Kentucky, they'll be here probably about 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, or about the time you get up and get ready for work or school. And these are the storms that, if they hold together and move in, which they pretty much will, I think, because the cold front is going to come in, and with the arrival of the front, there's going to be enough forcing with the front to touch off some of the stronger storms. So that's if there's any concern, and that's not a real concern, it's just a possibility. Well, the fronts, you saw it back there. The front tried to plot on there, but for some reason it's not doing it. The front is back here into parts of Arkansas and Missouri. As far as current conditions, like temperatures, let's check. And that will also tell us where things are. You can see with some of these storms, like, 60s, near 70. We're in the mid 60s here, upper 60s, where you see these yellow shaded temperatures, 70s. But notice right back here in that area that I showed you, a quick drop off from the 60s into the 50s and then into the 40s. And that's just right there in the northeastern corner of Oklahoma. 60s, 50s, 40s. So that's a sign of the kind of drop off we're going to have in temperature. That's not going to happen here, though, until late tomorrow night and into early Saturday is when we're going to expect it here in southern Kentucky. So it's still got a ways to go before it gets here, but it's coming. Get ready. It's coming. Let's take a look at the updated outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. And here we go. You can see that we've got an extended green shaded area now, level 1. Marginal risk. It's on the low end of everything. So it's one of those situations where something sneaky could happen, but the confidence in any of that happening is pretty low, but it's not zero. So that's the thing I want you to keep in mind is that we're not seeing a zero damaging wind threat. We're not seeing a zero tornado threat, but any of those threats are on the low end of the scale. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Now, they did expand the general or not the general, well, they did the general risk as well, but this is the level 1 marginal risk, and it goes all the way up to the Great Lakes through the Wabash River, Mississippi, and Ohio River Valley, Tennessee Valley, and then almost all the way down to the Gulf Coast. I mean, it almost goes border to border. It's pretty impressive. But again, it's all a low risk. And I think a lot of this is just kind of, CYA, if you know what I mean, kind of cover your, yeah. It's precautionary. It's to make sure that anywhere in this area, and the close-up here showing, while Bowling Green is technically not in, and most of I-65 is not in that level 1 marginal risk for tonight, as that front comes in, excuse me, early tomorrow morning, we could slip in there. What about the tornado threat? It's back here in Missouri and Illinois and Arkansas and West Tennessee. But it's again a very low 2%, 2% risk. As I mentioned, it's not zero, but it's 2%. That's why I said it could be a little sneaky kind of thing, but more so back to the west. The wind threat is at 5%, and it almost comes up to Bowling Green. The hail threat, there's not one. It's just not going to be much of an issue. This is going out to day 3, which is after today, or day after tomorrow. Tomorrow and the following day. So all of this is going to move pretty quickly. This is the day 1, which is tonight. Here's the day 2, which this changed only very little. This is tomorrow. And the majority of this could occur tomorrow morning. That's right. I think some of the better values, if you will, and ingredients needed for a potential strong to severe storm is actually going to come in the morning, because that cold front is going to be close by. It's actually, when it comes through, it's going to come in. Actually, I should have drawn that blue, shouldn't I? Let me get some blue in here. Okay, there we go. Now, when the cold front comes in tomorrow, and this will be in the morning, the front is going to come in and actually act as that, what I referred to this last night as a front loader situation or scoop. Yeah, the winds are going to be dynamic enough where they come from upper levels down to the ground, and then also at the ground, there is a very strong jet, very strong low-level jet that is also going to force some of those winds to maybe do a little spin, maybe. A little spin, shear, we call it shear, where you go up, change direction and speed with height in the atmosphere. That could happen. And if that happens, then we would have these little, bowing segments. You'd look at a line of storms and you'd see them just kind of pooch out like that. That would be a damaging wind that's forcing itself down to the ground. And along those little pooches, if you will, those little pockets where things pooch out, right there at the apex is where you could have this little spin, okay? A little spin right there, right here. That's not a very good tornado. But anyway, you get the idea. A little brief spin up. We've seen it happen before, and with this system, it could happen again. And if it does, it's going to happen in the morning. Let's take a look at this marginal risk for tomorrow. It's not going to come up. Oh, wait, I clicked the wrong button. There we go. So, slight risk of severe storms way down on the Gulf Coast, not here tomorrow. In fact, they kept pushing that level 2 slight risk further south, even more. So, for us, it is going to be just the marginal risk extending along the cold front, Ohio and Tennessee valleys, and then going into the Mississippi Valley. So, further south and west, that's where some of the better ingredients for potentially severe weather, once you get into Mississippi and down toward the Gulf, that's where the better setup is going to be if it happens. And even there, the confidence is kind of low that it's going to happen. Some of these upper 60 to near 70 dew points already in place along the Gulf Coast is going to spread northward, yes, but I think we're going to have enough rain and enough clouds to where we're not going to, you know, have to be concerned about high instability. But as I've mentioned before, this time of the year in the cold season, the winter months, you don't need a lot of high instability. High shear, which we will have, is going to be the driving force with these thunderstorms. So that's why I say this is kind of sneaky. And in the morning, when you get up, you're likely to hear some thunder and gusty winds. And you may be, you may be rocking and rolling at your house and you're like, oh, how bad is this going to get? Hopefully, it will not get that bad because everything is on the low scale. This is not going to be, and I'll repeat it again, this is not going to be an up all night, pace the floor kind of an event. I wouldn't even call it an event. It's going to be some thunderstorms. Some of these will have some gusts of wind, gusty showers, gusty thunderstorms that could do some minor wind damage. Then, as we get into Friday night, the attention turns from that to excessive rainfall. Now, most of the locations of the heavier rainfall have been shunted a little bit further south and east, but once you get into, in between Cookeville and Knoxville, Tennessee along I-40, and even as you get up toward, well, you see there the Daniel Boone National Forest, once you get over into southeastern Kentucky, the Cumberland Plateau, we call it, southeast of Bowling Green, that's where some of the heavy rainfall looks to take place. So here is the multi-day setup. Here is tonight and tomorrow. This is precipitation. This is rainfall, projected rainfall for tonight and tomorrow. And we're still looking at almost an inch of rain in Bowling Green, lighter amounts back to the west. But here's where the heaviest of the rain is going to fall. Over in eastern Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky, inch and a third, inch and a half, 2 inches, some of these areas, 3 inches, like right around the Knoxville area. They could pick up 3 inches. Now, the rain chances will start to go down as we add, this also takes in Saturday, so the rains will still be there and will just kind of sit there for much of Saturday, at least the beginning of Saturday, and then start to go away. And we can see that if we take it day by day, this is tonight, this is tomorrow. And you see that we add a third of an inch, half inch. And then as we get into day 3, which is Saturday, all of that begins to push east. So it's not going to linger. And I think the ground will be able to take and soak up that rain, but it's coming. And it's going to be pretty decent rainfall, especially tomorrow night. All right, taking a look at the current conditions with the Kentucky Mesonet Network, and we take a look at, first of all, temperatures. Right now, they're in the mid 60s. High temperatures today were right there at 70. In fact, here in Bowling Green, we broke the record, 72, new record high, which was also set back in 2006, 2008, and 2019. I guess we tied it, pretty much tied that record. Was it 60, 69 maybe? I'll have to look because I think, let me do something here yeah, the record was 69 for today. I'm just looking at the climate statistics for today, 69, the official record high for today, which was set back in 2006, 2008, and 2019. So that 72 degrees today is a brand new record high temperature and 26 degrees warmer than we normally are, which is 46. Not even close. So we hit upper 60s, low 70s today. We started in the 30s and 40s this morning. Well, that's gone. That's gone. Tonight, we're only going to get down into the 60s, and that if we hit 63, that's going to be a new record low temperature for the day. Because the record low that stands right now is 53 degrees set back in 1935. Woo-hoo. And then tomorrow, probably a record high, close to tying it, I think, 70 set back in 1930. But then it all comes crashing down by Saturday. Any rainfall today anywhere? Well, probably not. Probably not. I don't see anything really. Oh, there's some back into western Kentucky. 0.02 of an inch in Benton, Marshall County, and Graves County, the Mayfield area. Just a little bit of a drop in the bucket, and that's it. If you'll remember, I said we probably would get through today without any rainfall, and it's ended up that way, but it's coming in tonight, late tonight. Here are the winds. Remember last night, if you were watching and I showed you this, and it showed light and variable little arrows going every direction and near calm winds. And I said, when I show you this map tomorrow night, it's going to have southerly winds and it's going to be breezy. Well, there we go. I mean, it didn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that, because that's just the way it's set up. And despite what people say, I am not a rocket scientist. I know I've been called that. Okay, so I've not been called that. But anyway, southerly winds, 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's not even the gusts. The gusts have been up 20, 25. There's a 30 mile per hour wind gust right now in Franklin. And there have been some higher than 30 today. Windy. Remember that song? The Association. Everyone knows it's windy. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Let's go to the maps, because I'll have, what was that guy's name last night? He said, just get on with the weather. And I was talking about Tim Conway. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to get on with the weather. Here's a look at the warm front that's coming in tonight. Southwesterly breezes and the rain that I showed you on radar back to the west. Well, we can watch how it's going to progress overnight. Here's Bowling Green. The rain edges in a little closer. Now it's going to start light. It's not going to be anything too heavy, too strong. This is midnight, and there's the cold front. Okay. Now let's go to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning when I said, when you get up and go to work, go to school, there's going to be stuff going on. Well, there it is. Warm front to the east, rain and thunderstorms right here along the I-65 corridor, Nashville, Bowling Green, Louisville, all the way down to Huntsville and beyond. Then there's our cold front back to the west. The thing is, the front is going to slow down tomorrow. It's going to come in, yes, but it's going to slow down because it's going to wait on an area of low pressure, which is southwest of us. And once that moves in, then that's when our second round of rain will come in for tomorrow night. And I can show you that right here. So here is 12 noon with the showers and the storms going east. We're actually going to see a bit of a lull in the rain from tomorrow morning, a lull then tomorrow night as this low moves out of Texas and Louisiana and heads up our direction. Now, the red zone area, again, is going to be, and I mentioned this last night, severe weather red zone. Jackson, Mississippi is right in the bullseye. Most of central Mississippi is going to be where if you want to say the roughest weather that's going to go on tomorrow. And that, when there's this kind of a setup, when there's a greater severe weather risk further south of us, in this case, it tends to draw away energy from us. And I think that's why we're just going into the low end of severe, just to kind of, as I said, CYA, preventative or precautionary type of situation so that, well, something could sneak in. So that's why it's there. But the better risk of severe weather is going to be in Mississippi tomorrow, morning and evening. Here we go from midday to tomorrow evening, 6 p.m., and the front is going to sit right over southern Kentucky. And this is when the next big surge of rain and maybe some thunderstorms is going to come in because the low is going to travel. Remember the training I talked about last night? When storms train over the same area, this is going to happen. Here's your track, and there's your train, the low pressure system. Choo, choo. It's going to go whoop. And you're going to hear Johnny Cash songs as I hear that train a-coming, and it's going to come around the bend, and you're not going to see any sunshine, and I don't know when. But I don't know if it's going to be at Folsom. But anyway, showers, some heavy rain. I think we could get some heavy rain tomorrow night. Here is 6 a.m. Saturday, and the low finally ejects out of the area, comes right through the Bowling Green area, and goes north. And that's where it's just going to head away from us. And the rain chances will start to come down, but it's behind this system where the cold air gets drawn down big time. And yeah, it's going to get colder, progressively colder as we go through the day. Saturday, maybe not at first. It's going to wait on this backdoor cold front to swing through. That's the one that has the cold north winds that will hit us on Saturday, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. This is Sunday morning, and somebody's going to get some flyby flurries with this little shortwave. that's going to pass through. Sunday morning, fly-by flurries, and then they go bye-bye flurries. Then, as soon as Monday morning, look at this, high pressure builds in and we start a west to southwest wind flow all over again. That means we're going to warm up. Here's Tuesday. Look at those southwest winds. We're talking about jumping from the 40s into the 50s on Tuesday. Wednesday, another kind of a weak upper wave comes through with just a little bit of shower activity. We'll be in the upper 40s, close to 50. And then 1 week from today, next Thursday, the 15th, it'll already be the middle of January by next Thursday. And here comes another front, limited moisture. It's a clipper system, one of these little clippers that just come by and do their thing. They don't do much of anything, really. And then they just move on. All right, let's do our usual comparison of the models and what we can expect out of the European model. And you can see here's the low pressure system, and it's ready to go, and it's ready to move, and it's also ready to not only take in Gulf moisture, but even a little bit of Pacific moisture. But there it is, and it's poised for us to watch it move into the Great Lakes. So let's make it move. Here we go. Overnight tonight. Here come the first wave of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. Now, in the morning, 9Z, which is right there, 9 Zulu time, which is 4 a.m. for us, you're seeing right there just mainly scattered showers and some thunderstorms. It's not really all that organized, but there may be enough punch from the wind to possibly produce a damaging wind threat, short-lived, maybe spin up. Okay? Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Unless it's you, then it's a big deal, right? Right. Okay, but this is, again, not going to be your kind of pace the floor kind of deal. So whatever happens in the morning is going to be one of those things where you're on your way to work and you feel the wind just kind of move your car around like that. Whoa, that was a gust of wind. And you might see a, tree branch or small tree branch or some debris flying around and things like that. And maybe there could even be a few sporadic power outages. If we get some of those wind gusts of 40 to 50, then yes, I think that could be the deal. But look how quickly we get into the middle part of the day, and look, it quits. It just stops. Well, that's because the front is going to stall right in here. And as that front stalls, it's going to wait on a second area of low pressure to move right up into our area. And that's the one that's going to bring the heaviest rain tomorrow night. Now watch down here. You'll be able to see the low pressure system just appear, and then the rain reappears for us tomorrow night. Here it comes. Look at the rain. There it is. But look, 1012 millibar, it's not strong. But it is going to be the carrier for all of that Gulf moisture. So there's going to be some heavy rain and some rumbles of thunder, but a 1012 millibar low pressure system is just not that strong. So whatever happens tomorrow night when this rain comes in, I think it's just going to be rain and some rumbles of thunder into Saturday morning. All right, there it goes. Now it does strengthen a little bit more You see there as it goes north, 1004 millibar. So it deepens. And then it gets stronger as it heads over the Great Lakes. And there it's going to what we call occlude, or it's going to just kind of wrap around itself because it is getting stronger. But here is the bigger story for us. It is all of this cold air that's going to come in Saturday progressively from top of the day, and then especially afternoon, Saturday night, and this is Sunday morning. That's when you're really going to start to feel it. And there could be some flyby flurries as that system comes around. And here you can see how the temperatures are going to go. They're going to fall off the cliff. I mean, around 70, and again, that could be a record or at least tie the record tomorrow. Then we drop to 58 on Saturday with the beginning passage of the cold front, but the real cold air waits until Saturday night when we drop to 30. And then look, we only hit 37. 37 for a high on Sunday. That's a big deal. We go from basically 67 to 37 in a matter of, what, 36 hours? You're going to feel it. Your bones are going to feel it. My sinuses already feel it. How about you? Yeah. I mean, today it's been like this where I have to constantly clear my throat because there's a little bit of drainage back there. See, like that. And I'm like a barometer. It happens to me way before the storm gets here. But yeah, there's going to be a pressure drop and a temperature drop, and you're going to feel it. Then we start to have some recovery as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and then things kind of level off next week and the next weekend. It does get a bit chillier, but there are your numbers. The blend of models, I call it the model blender, where we take an ensemble or a gathering of these models, put them in, if you can imagine, putting them in a blender, hitting the blend button, and then pouring it out. This is what's poured out of all those models. And the trend here is to go back to more seasonable normals for this time of the year. The normal high right now, at this point in January, is 46. That's where we're supposed to be. All right? So we're going to get back there, and it's probably going to stay a while. I'm sorry, I got that banner is up in the way. I've got to remember to take that down. Okay, now we're good. All right. So will there be power outages? It's possible. I mean, when you get that much wind, it is always a possibility. 40, 50 mile per hour wind gust, yeah. I think somebody might get a brief power outage for an hour, a couple of hours. It's happened the last couple of times we've had this. So why not be ready with a Generac generator from R&R Controls? What R&R will do is come to your house, come to your business, and take a look and assess of what you need. How big or how little of a generator you're going to need to power up everything you have. And I mean everything. Because once they wire this up, you're good to go. If your electric company or the lines going to your house get cut or get interrupted and your power goes off, this kicks on within seconds and you're back on. You can keep watching TV. You can keep getting on your devices, your PC. You can keep cooking if you're cooking something in the oven. Your refrigerator and your freezer will not start to melt all the stuff you've got in there. Everything stays preserved, stays cooled, stays chill. And if it's cold outside, Your heat. Whew. Yeah, your heat stays on. Now that's the one that gets me. It's like I hate in the wintertime when the power goes off and you have no heat. That's not good. But with a Generac generator from R&R Controls, you can keep going. 270-777-2024. That's the number to call right up there. 270-777-2024. Or you can go to their website, rnrhvac.com, because with R&R, you will never be without. They're good people, too. That's the biggest thing. They're good people. All right. Let's go to a few of your comments. This is becoming a much watched part of my videos here lately, it seems like. Oh, look at this. Here is Marion Donnelly. I am ready. I have a Generac and I love it. Very nice, Marion. So she knows all about the Generac generators. Thank you, Marion, for that testimonial, if you will. Patty Monday. I've been the same way, Chris. I have a bad sinus and chest congestion. Whew. I know. I feel it too. Let's see. It's already, Rachel says, it's already very windy here in Rockport, Kentucky. Thanks for checking in. Tamra, I think you're rocking man, burning up. Yeah, I'm no Elton John, not even close. The winds are gusty, Sue says, in Riverside. And even Tim and Sarah Goad say it's pretty gusty in Franklin right now. So thank you for that report. Diane asked, do you have a time for storms? The storms, the first wave of storms, if you will, is going to come in around or just after midnight tonight. Now, don't be concerned about that. Again, these are not going to be your kind of up all night, pace the floor kind of things. You know, it's gonna blow. The wind's gonna blow. You're gonna hear the wind blow, and you may hear some rumbles of thunder. But as far as it being severe, not so much. There could be maybe a brief warning somewhere, especially west of us, but I really don't think it's going to be anything that we need to be too concerned about. And in the morning, around 4 or 5 a.m. is when you're going to have some of the stronger storms coming by. Here is Beth up in Grayson County, blowing pretty hard in Grayson County, Reedy, Kentucky. You got to say it like that. It's Reedy. It's not ready. If you say ready, somebody's going to go, they ain't from around here. They said Ready, Kentucky. It's Reedy. And it's also Reedyville, which isn't far away from Reedy. Yeah, you have to understand how the pronunciation of those particular towns. So, okay, I'm just kind of going through some of your comments. All right. Well, it looks like we got most of them. Here's one more. Mary, Litchfield, wind is blowing like crazy here at my house. Yep. I would say it is. Everywhere the wind is blowing. Marion, the one who said she's got a Generac generator, my power goes out all the time. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but she has a Generac generator. So guess what? She's never without power. How about that? You just need to call R&R and have them fix you up. Just do it. Just do it. All right. That's all. That's all I got for tonight. I'll be back on News 40 in the morning, 6, 9, and noon with an update. And of course, at 6 a.m. in the morning, that's when we'll most likely have some of those potentially stronger storms. So I'll be on live to cover it for you. In the meantime, have a great Thursday evening. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to sign up for the Route 66 tour. It's going to book up fast. We have information on that at WNKY.com. And I've got information I just posted today on my Facebook pages. So you can go there and find out everything you need to get your kicks on Route 66 with me in October. God bless you. Have a great night.